Okay, hello. Welcome everybody to Coming Into Being, which reminds me to send out my little message. Here we go. All right, here we go for another session of Coming Into Being. This is just your time to, hey, Asta, popping right up, to take some time to just chill, reconnect with yourself, come into that space of just you and putting everything else aside. So, this is what this is for. And then we go into all sorts of directions as is needed. So, we always start by connecting with ourselves. And just take a nice deep breath in, hold it at the top for a little bit, and then just let it all out. Let everything out with that. You can do that a couple more times if you want. Hey, there was Wisdom Happy with Ella. Ella Kitten. She's got a name now. Cute. All right, and Sydney popping in. And you're welcome to say hi in the chat if you want or not. And Glenna. Oh, yay. Good to see you, Glenna. Glad to have you here. So just coming into our own person, our own self, and putting everything aside. Yeah. So let's take a couple more deep breaths again and do that cycle. It's always nice to kind of do that a couple times. Just take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top and see if you can hold it just a little bit longer this time. And then slowly release it out. And let everything, as you release out, just everything kind of coming down, kind of slowly, like a balloon that's just deflating. You're not deflating, but all that other stuff is deflating and going out of the day, getting out of the way. Yeah. So, Glenna, you're showing up with a lot of strength today, popping right up. That's nice. Oh, Carolina. Carolina just popped in also on the other side. So that's nice to see. So everybody's showing up really good. Yeah, Wisdom Happy. You're also, you've grown so much in just the little time that we've worked together. It's just really cool. So yeah, you're still at the surface. They're still dealing with a lot of stuff, but the difference is that internally there's more of that strength to just carry through and not get thrown in all directions with what's coming up. So that's the important piece. So settling into your breath, just come into noticing that breath coming in and allowing it to relax in. You know, sometimes when we start noticing, then we get a little self-conscious in that awareness, and then we start efforting. So just notice if you start doing that. It feels counterintuitive to have the cat with me. No, that's fine. But obviously it feels supporting her. Yes. And she responds so positively. So I want her to come, but she can be a little distracting. Yeah. So, good point. As we all kind of just keep settling down into our breath and letting ourselves get into more relaxed state and finding that cycle of ourselves, which is through that cycle of a relaxed breath. So distracting, yeah, and just kind of notice that and use that to strengthen yourself coming back. So it's like practice for you of getting distracted and then coming right back to center. You get a little distracted, come right back to center. So that's just good practice, and pretty harmful little kitty to do that with. So yeah, good for her. And if she comes to you, this is like a perfect time to put that rescue remedy on her too. Sneak it on the top of her head if you can scratch her at the top of her head there. So that's fine. Yeah. And she's becoming more secure in herself because it's all of a sudden she just popped up. Okay, just saw this kind of bright-eyed kitty exploring the world look pop up. So that's good. I love it when animals show up in people's sessions, in groups. Kind of shows that special bond that we can have with our animals, with our animal friends, and with nature when that happens. And it also shows, that alignment as we get more into that pure alignment of ourselves, then we have that, we get closer to resonance of nature, of that purity of self, purity of nature. So let's kind of dive into that one. So dropping into the core of the earth and core of the new earth. Yeah, let's emphasize the new earth. And keep dropping down all the way. Let's get it all the way past what we normally go, how far we normally go, yeah. A little bit further. Some kind of distortion, a little bit. So break through that. There you go. And allowing yourself to feel that connection to the new earth. And just notice how that's, when you do that, and I've said this before, but I just want to point it out every time to help kind of just reinforce that for people, that noticing. When we connect in, there's a moment where we just tap into that, and then there's this kind of this opening, there's a flow that starts happening, there's a stillness that starts to come through in the space. Yeah, there we are. So let's just hang here for a little bit, coming into that purity of being. Purity of connection to the earth, the new earth. And the new earth, because that's the new consciousness of the earth is coming through more and more strongly. That started showing up for me, I want to say it's more than a couple of years now. I've been a couple of years in France, so it's been at least 3 years now. So coming through more and more strongly. And regardless of what happens at the surface, and we still have to go through all of that stuff that we're going through, unfortunately, but regardless of all that, the earth has the power. No matter what humans try to do. I mean, at worst case scenario, all the humans will be just wiped off this face of the earth. The earth will still be here. We won't. But the earth will be here. So connecting into that earth, to this physical home that we have. It's really amazing how humans have gotten into this place of owning this little piece of earth, and owning instead of being stewards of that piece of land, and just giving themselves the right to do whatever they want, and not taking care of this land, this earth. And of course, everybody here is conscious and aware enough and has that sense to some of us it's more than others, that we are connected with the earth. There is no separating us from the earth. It's in our biology, it's in our makeup, it's in who we are that we have this connection. So, and what I'm going to say applies to any state, anything beyond, this connection to the earth. But when you see people doing what they do to with disregard to the earth, with fracking, for example, that's one of the later ones. But the oil pipeline kind of has come back to the forefront recently, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It shows the level of the level of distortions that is between them, their human self, and their spirit. So it's very dense, and that's true of anything where people are not aware, we're not conscious, and do all sorts of things such as that. Whether it's to the earth, whether it's to animals, whether it's to other people. So there's a lot of cleanup that's happening right now. Yeah, a lot of that is finally becoming so obvious that it cannot be hidden any longer. Right? Yeah. So giving this time, this connection to the earth, and taking the time to just be present and just connect in. It's really good for us, but it's also a way to honor the earth, coming from that place of purity within ourselves and connecting in. Yeah, let's expand that space out. So expanding the space, also expanding your space too. It's always nice to kind of get that. Yeah, there's so that's interesting. We'll work on this because there's kind of this pressure, um, pressure from the collective. So let's see, general. There's also pressure from the group collective. So the collective, by the collective, usually if I say that, that's just like the whole collective of humanity. That group collective might be your respective group. And that could be family, that could be the community you work in, the community, like the work, the work community, the community you live in. So it could be it's a smaller group. So that's coming through. So let's just make a little bit more space. It's not for us to stop them from doing that, but it is for us to say, no, these are my boundaries. You can't go past this point, and hold that for yourselves. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Good work. Coming into that alignment for yourself, that core central alignment, feeling yourself anchored into the earth. and holding that strongly for yourself. And sometimes it takes a little bit more effort than other times. People will try to pressure into you. Mm. So not necessarily at the human in the human interaction, but at the spirit, at the energetic interaction. And if you really pay attention, um, you'll notice they might be coming usually right side most often. But you might notice it's like, okay, coming over here at the top, coming, trying to hook into your neck because that's a way to control people. And thoughts will do that. It's really interesting when you have a thought pattern. You, I've noticed it, so you might pick that up on for yourself. It's like this plug going into the back of your neck and going right into your brain to try to control you. And I've felt it, I mean, literally, like this plug going in the back of the, right at the nape. So the way to be aware of that is to really come into the boundaries of your body. Really pull in your awareness. It's not going to shrink up your field, but what it will do is it will concentrate you and really come into that central core even more strongly. And the more you pull in, you will see that it's like it's creating more heat, more fire, and that starts to expand your field and grow it even more and push all that out. And that's a very strong way of saying no. Being real clear on your boundaries, being real clear on, this is my space. So focusing on that core channel for yourself. And dropping into the core of the earth. So it's like that core channel goes right through you. It's that part of you is in you, and then dropping down all the way through to the core of the earth, and then connected to above too. Yeah, there you go. So there's a lot of pressure from groups, from whatever collective, however big we want to look at that collective. And, you can have a collective of just 2 people, and you can have a tremendous amount of power, pressure from even just one person. Because people really hold on to, they've got to be a certain way. And as soon as you start shifting away from that, even if it's just to align a little bit more fully with yourself, people will freak out because they don't want to change. Because they're pretty comfy with it the way it's out, even if they complain at the human level. But at the spirit level, it's like, hey, wait a minute, this is good. And you'll see it at the human level too. And it's like, no, you come right back here. And let's keep doing this the way we've been doing it because it's a hell of a lot more comfortable for me. So coming in more strongly into yourself. So it's like, okay, you could do what you want. I'm doing this. So there can be a lot of pressure. And sometimes it's sustained pressure. So it's not easy. It can be real challenging. And so when you hit those times, it's not to diss the other people. It's not to push away or get rid of them necessarily. Sometimes we might need to do that, but it Doesn't mean automatically doing that every time. But giving yourself that space, so coming into being, for example, but also giving yourself that connection to people who will recognize and give you that space to just hold for yourself who you are, so that you can come into deeper alignment with yourself, and then come, usually when we come into deeper alignment with ourselves and appreciate ourselves more and can really hold that for ourselves even more strongly, then we can see more clearly and say, okay, well, yeah, I can see what's going on with them. It's like, I don't have to go there, but I can see why they're doing that. I don't have to accept coming into that game, but I can understand, I can appreciate that they're having a difficult time and need to try to pressure me so that they can feel more comfortable, or so that I can carry their burden for them. But yeah, we're just not going to go there. We can all learn to carry our own weight. It's like, when you hold your space and then that forces somebody else to kind of like take a look at their stuff, and then they try to, it's like going in the gym for the first time. You're sending them to the gym for the first time. They've never gone there. It's like, you got to lift those weights. It's like, no, I don't want to. So there's a bit of that. So we just have to take it lightly, meaning we don't take it as judgment on ourselves or necessarily judgment on them. We just say, this is where they're at. So that's fine. Sydney, did I notice you earlier? I can't remember. And then come back to holding that space for ourselves. All right, let's do that. Let's do that a little bit more strongly for everybody. So let's take a nice deep breath in, hold it, and I'll just drop down to the core of the earth. And really focus on that core of the earth. There we go. Allowing that energy to come back come back up. Feel that connection. Notice how you feel more. Yeah, no more sacrificing. Yeah. Standing strong, feeling that, as you stay rooted and anchored into that connection and into your core channel, feel that strength for yourself. Yeah. That's staying now. So everybody's doing really well. There's a little bit of wavering off, but that is normal when you're not used to being in this place, or when you're not used to being in this place even more. When we go to higher levels, we have to come into that even more strongly. And so there's that wavering. It's like the first time you do something, and even energetically, when you hold that space, it's like you're going literally, you have to keep coming back. That happens to me too. This is just part of moving into a higher level. It's, again, with the gym analogy, because that's an easy one. It's like you're used to lifting 20-pound weights, and then you go to 40 pounds. The first time you do it, you're like, okay, hold on, you can do it, and then you put them down. The next time it becomes easier. So, oh man, yeah, sacrifice, that's a really powerful piece. No more sacrificing who we are. And so sacrificing that which is not us, putting that on the funeral pyre, putting that in the fire. This is not who I am because it does not represent me, my truth, what's true. And letting that truth of you, that strength of who you are, and holding that, being in that power of the purity of your essence, letting that spread like wildfire. Ha! So good for you. And, counter to what, again, the group thing is really coming up for people. So, counter to what the group will want you to think, that, there can be this piece around, you can't do that because then you're disowning who you are. You can't do that because then you're disowning us, you're disrespecting us. You get into all these pieces of trying to coerce back into the norm. And the arguments can all be really good, so we have to watch that, because we can always come up with extremely valid, logical arguments for anything in existence. It doesn't mean it's the right thing. Okay, so we have to separate that out. It's logical, makes sense, it sounds really good, but that doesn't make it the right thing. Because the mind will come up with any argument for anything you want, and make it sound really good. That's the power of marketing, isn't it? The power of sales. It's like there's really good salesmen out there who can sell you the devil, quote unquote, and make it sound like the purest, most loving, beneficial person on earth. So, doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. I mean, it's right for somebody else, but right here, right now. And so having that long-term vision is helpful. We don't need to have the details of that, but knowing that when you become stronger for yourself, that opens the way for others to become stronger in themselves, and others and others and others, and then that spreads so that everybody is standing strong for themselves and stop sacrificing themselves, stop being manipulated, stop being abused by these external pieces, and learn to stand in their power more. Yeah, wow, that's coming through very nicely. Starting to wake up. Glenna, you're coming up today. I'm seeing this, and I just know because the flavor, there's always been that particular flavor in sessions with you, which has been wonderful. So I recognize that it's for you. This is already activating it at the spirit level. People are already starting to go, oh, wait a minute. How long that takes to translate into the human level, that's another story. But I'm seeing it. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, we got to pay attention here. So heads up for you. And wow, coming through really strongly of just this brilliance that's coming through. Let's see about it. Let me check with other people, because this is a really nice piece. Let's give this to other people. Let's really bring this out for everybody in the group here. Oh. Yeah, Wisdom Happy, you're pretty close to being there too. And that's okay that you're not there, but you're coming really close into all of a sudden that's a trigger. You become a trigger at that spirit level for others. You need a little bit more time on your own first to strengthen. So don't, no worries there. You're doing exactly what you need to do for yourself. And keep practicing with that little kitten, with little Ella. Let's see, who else is here? Asta. Asta, I'd like to see you stronger within yourself. Um, is it the workplace that gets to you? You've got this little, oh, okay, it's from family. I think it's from your father. Yeah. So yeah, that my sense is that's a piece that's coming from your father, because of that disconnection. So that's causing you to not to be wobbly, especially like in the work situation. If that makes sense. So notice that. I felt like I was falling asleep. I opened my eyes. That's fine, no problems. um, so Asta, when you notice that, and afterwards, just when you come home, just feel into that peace and feel into that lack of connection and causing that lack of self-confidence for you, for yourself. And then just kind of breathe into that for yourself. Just be present with yourself and feeling through that, and just say, no, okay, that was then, that's not me. This is me now. I'm not there anymore. Because that is a strong, that's an important piece. So let me know if that makes sense for you, Asta. Sydney, you're in a good place. You're kind of coming through really bubbly, so that's kind of a nice balance with the strong, good mental part that you have. And Carolina, this is very helpful today. I had been being plugged into in my neck. I know it's really bizarre, isn't it? I unplugged what was there, and my neck stiffness and pain is gone. Makes me realize Elle is still at it. Yeah, so coming into that, so let's switch it around. So what's in you that is still causing that weakness? That it's sort of like, well, okay, there's a little leak here. So what's causing that to come through more? So is it a little doubt? Is it a little judgment? It's like, oh, I shouldn't be judging other people kind of thing. So look at that, kind of sit with that. And the backside, yeah, that tends to be an area of weakness, or a weaker area than the front. For one, we tend to just focus mostly on what's in front of us, so we don't really pay attention to the back. And the back tends to be a place where we carry a lot of people. So if you are one of those people that have been carrying a lot of people on your back is going to be weaker. So what you want to do is really, you can lie down and just put your hands on your neck, or even if you're sitting up, but lying down so that you can have that contact with your full back, and with your neck, and feel that, and just go putting your awareness into every bit and just growing that presence of you on your back. Asta, yes, thank you. So, yeah, so kind of work. I mean, there's a lot of things I could say about how to work with that. And yeah, feel free to send me a message afterwards. But, the basically it's to coming into that place and really feeling into that connection with your father, and just moving through it, moving through what it was, and saying, no, that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. And cleaning that out for yourself. And then, give yourself another father. Yeah, why not? What the hell? And just says, okay, this is the father I choose for myself. And you could literally do that. Write it out. Say, I choose this for my father. I choose this for my father. And when anything else comes up, it's not that. He says, nope, that's not there anymore. Yeah. Potency of this CIB is rocking it. Good. Also, suffering from neck, upper back pain related to my father pressuring coercively controlling me. Okay, so if your father was doing that, then you probably have other people who've tried to do that also, because that's just a place where it comes in. Yeah, and that's a family line thing also. And so part of the catch with you with the mental piece, with the mind piece, you've got a really good mind, but it's sort of a catch-22 because there's a lot of that control and being coercive and pressuring that's coming through the mental level. So getting into that place where you can hold that mental space clear without any thoughts. So that's one to practice, because I see that. I see his father doing that to him. And part of that is wanting to make sure it's the survival piece of you've got to be this way to survive, to do what's okay. I just read the next part. Um, and you've got to be this way. You've got to survive. This is the only way you're going to get through life. What's been coming up lately in U.S. government, NSA, CIA type stuff, no more. What did your dad work in that that area of things? Yeah, that gets pretty wacko. But honestly, most people, I would say probably just about everybody working in the U.S. government to some degree or another, without getting to NSA or CIA, because that's very specific stuff. There's a level of control, but it's usually not noticed because people have bought into the system. And government or any other system, really, you bought into the system, you made your career there, whatever. So you don't, and it's controlled because you aren't paying attention to the details anymore. There's kind of this assumption that starts getting made automatically. It's like, well, that's got to be correct because it's coming from here, kind of thing. So it's not intentional from the person to not realize that, unfortunately. At least that's the state of things these days, right? And then NSA and CIA, it's like, wow. Yeah, they're probably all really happy that Robert F. Kennedy isn't on the ticket anymore. All right, deep breath in. With that last thought, coming back into our core alignment, connecting into that connection to the core of the earth. Yeah. If you feel stuff in your neck, just putting your hands back there, just like, nope, this is my space. You need a little extra buffer, that's fine. Put your hand there. That's not shameful. Sometimes that just to help you reinforce that for yourself. Now, connecting into the new earth. Just saying that again, just to anchor that awareness more deeply. Yeah. Strong. And sometimes we just, this is part of kind of retraining ourselves is we just need to be defiant about it and say, hell no. I know exactly where I stand, and end of story. Own yourself. It's not about being right or wrong. So even when, because I'm saying that because somebody came, there was an exchange with somebody in this art group, and she didn't like my response. And I could feel her all day just pissed off at my response back to her, because I get a little tired when people, it was maybe a little snappy. It was probably maybe a little stronger than it needed to be, but honestly, I get really sick and tired of people telling me it's like, no, that's not true. When it's like, okay, the energy is just slapping you in the face that this is what's going on. So I get a little tired of that. I will admit. And so it's not about whether I'm right or wrong, but it's like, no, I know that I am not wrong. I may be not right, but I know that I am not wrong. And not right in my saying it, not right in my approach, not right in whatever, but I know I'm not wrong. End of story. And so you hold that for yourself. And come into that strength of yourself, of who you are, and own that. Yeah. Yeah, good. Everybody's holding good. So we're a little bit more on the hardcore today. Last time we had a nice kind of soothing session, but this is good too. Really, everybody's feeling strong and determined. You got that determination, so really good. Very nice. Very good. Yeah, you can all be really proud of yourselves. Oh, okay, very nice. As we wrap up here, I'll just flash off my little QR donation code for anybody who's watching now or later. Back to the chat here. And yeah, I had a really incredible few days. And I've moved through Portal. So Portal, just when you're really going into a new level for yourself, it's kind of, it can show up as a portal, and it actually did. But I wrote it up, and so I'm going to be posting that on my blog pretty soon, and sending out a little newsletter. And I know some of you aren't on my newsletter because you're coming in from Telegram groups, so that's okay. I could, well, anyways, we'll deal with that in the groups on Telegram. So just a little quick announcement. I'm gonna, because of that, I'm gonna start putting it out to people in the newsletter and people in Telegram, those new sessions that I'm doing, the primordial sessions. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Coming out soon. All right. So everybody's doing any last comments before we close the day? Really good session. Everybody feels really, it has that strength of determination, so that's really nice. Okie dokie. Okay, well, so we'll call it a day. Thank you all for coming here. Good show for everybody here. Good work. And see you next time, next Wednesday, if you make it, in the ethers. and wherever else we connect. It's always good to connect with everybody here. And great session. Hi, Cho. Yes, hi, Cho. And I don't know if I say it right, but hi, Cho. Merci. Is the primordial stuff in addition? Also, that's no, you know what I'm talking about. You've had those sessions, so you're one of the ones who have already had a session. It's also in addition to also still doing the new moon events. You know, it's interesting because the new moon, yeah, that's coming up fairly soon, and I have to sit with it and see what happens, because after the last one, it kind of went into this stillness. So I think we'll likely do a meditation, but it might just be a deep stillness meditation, inner stillness kind of thing. So the sessions I'm talking about is like the session. I can't remember. We've done a couple sessions together. So some people have already experienced that, because I was just slowly kind of just testing the waters and holding back. And then with this last piece, it's like time to put it out there for others, but not to the general public, just to, well, guys, general public on YouTube, right? But whoever happens to be on my emailing list will get that information. And if you hear this and you're curious, you can reach out to me at unbounded3.com. You can just go to my website and get in touch with me there at customer@unboundedandfree.com. But all right, great session from everybody. Take care, and we'll see you in the ethers or wherever else we connect. Have a good rest of the week, guys.